Hey guys, this lesson is meant to take you through our basic blocks in Bokito. So remember, no matter how high a grade you get, you always need to be working on basics because, like many foundational things, if you can get these right and you can keep improving on them, then all other aspects of your training will get better as well. So I'm going to do these two ways. First way is just going to be doing all of the blocks slow and explaining them. But remember, when you're practicing them, you can do them slow to work out that you've got everything in the right spot, your hands are in the right position and everything else. But when you're practicing it and you've basically got it all down, try and do it fully at speed all the time. Because that perfect practice means if you're practicing it slow, when you need to do the block, you're going to be used to doing it slow, and you need to do it fast for it to be effective. So generally with our blocks, when we're practicing our traditional blocks, we do it from our hikadachi stance, so shoulder width, hands by our side, and we always start with our left hand. So to start with our upper block, bring my hands up, punching across my face on a 45, coming straight up. And I've just got my arm on that 45-degree angle. If I open up my hand, my thumb's pointed down at the ground. So this is a strike coming in, it's blocked onto my arm, deflect it off. I don't want it to be blocked like that, because if it hits, it's going to hurt. It's probably just going to break my arm if it's a bottle or something like that. So I'm coming up, so it deflects off to the side. We usually include this with footwork as well, so that we're not actually there for it. This is just in case we miss, just deflecting things off to the side. So as you do this one, punch across, make sure it comes up, and make sure it's protecting your head. It's no good if it's off to the side, because something's going to come straight through. So punching across and up. The other part to this is make sure your hand's not coming around, because if you're doing that, you're not going to block the strike. You might miss it and it can come straight through. So we've got to come in front of our body first and come up to meet the strike coming in. So just doing 10 slowly. 1, punching across and up. Now switch to my right, coming in front. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, notice how my other hand's coming back up higher to my side. 8, 9, 10. Now at speed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now to put in some footwork with that one, if you move to a right foot back, fighting stance, as we do this, we're going to block and just shuffle to the side. So I'm getting off that line of attack. That way, hopefully, I don't even need this block to actually connect with the strike. Hopefully I've gotten out of the way and whatever's coming at me has missed. But if I'm too slow, that arm's protecting me. So to do this one, I'm just pushing off to the side, moving across. So both my feet are moving with this one. I'm pushing with my front foot first and sliding across. But you can do this however you want, as long as you're getting off that line. So as you're doing it that way, it'll be... And notice that the blocking hand is on the outside of my body. So there's no point in me doing the block and shuffling that way, because chances are the strike can still get me. So I'm always keeping that block on the outside towards the attack. Okay, next one, back to hikadachi. Just doing our midsection block. So with this one, traditional block, it's punching down, coming out to the side. In traditional karate, this may have been used for blocking punches to the midsection, but in practice it's a bit slow for that. So what we usually use it for is as a bit of a deflection, if you've got something and you need to move it out of the way, or if you're trying to jam something. So if a big kick's coming in low, you can use that, sometimes using your other hand to block it. It can also be useful for grabs. So remember, in sparring, you're probably not going to use it to block kicks or punches coming into your midsection. It's more going to be for things coming around to the outside. So punching down slowly, and then just scooping out to the side. So if you think about the ice cream scoop coming in, you scoop down and out. And this way we're catching whatever's come in, and we're getting nice strength if we're trying to block something as well. So slowly, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now at speed, as I do this one, I'm really trying to emphasize that hit at the last minute, jamming something coming in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So now if I'm doing that with my footwork, right foot back in the fighting stance, generally with this one I'm actually going to be meeting the strike. So if someone's doing a big Mwashigeri, a roundhouse kick, and I know it's coming into the midsection, I do have to watch, because if it's going to the head, this won't protect me. I can use this to sort of jam it. So to do this one, I'm shuffling forward on a 45-degree angle. I'm not just going sideways. I'm actually trying to stop the kick or the punch or whatever it is that's coming in before it reaches its maximum point of impact. Just coming in that little bit. Now, as I do this one, I'm also keeping my other hand up just to guard it. I can use that to grab. I can use that just as an extra hand to sort of help if this one arm isn't enough strength. So remember, this is the more advanced way of doing it. So if you're finding it difficult, you can just practice the basic. But for those who are ready, 1, and then I go to the other side, 2. So you can either do it open hand, closed hand. You could do it with 2 closed hands if you wanted to, if you want to make it really strong. You're basically just coming out to meet it. So just watch with your footwork. Remember that you're coming in to meet the strike as you're doing that one. Okay, moving on back to our Heikadarch stance, to our lower block. So this one is good if you're trying to block something that's coming in. It could be a kick, it could be a stick or something like that. Generally we do it in our sparring with other techniques as well. So you might block low and block your face. But the basic block is just making a big circle, coming under your chin, and then down. So notice as I do this one that if I bring my gi up, as it comes down, my arm stays bent. If it straightens and then I get hit on that elbow, I could break my arm. So I'm just keeping it a little bit bent. Still really strong, and a nice tight fist, so that if anything does hit it, it's going to actually protect me, but not going full extension. Also trying to keep it fairly close to my body, because if I'm coming out to meet strikes like this, there's a lot of room for error. I might miss and it might hit me. So just keep it in fairly close. A little bit of a gap, that way you got a bit of shock absorption there before it hits your body. Alright, let's try it slowly. So starting with our left, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now at speed. So as I do this, I still got to make sure I make the circle coming down. There's no point just dropping my arm straight down like that, because I might be too slow and miss the technique coming in. So I've got to come through and then I can catch it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, now if I do that from my fighting stance, there's 2 ways you can use this block. You can use it moving away and just keeping it there just in case, you know, the kick or whatever it is follows through, or you can come out to meet it. So you can try it either way, coming forward and meeting the block, or getting out of the way and shuffling to the side. Main thing is though, never just stand there and block. Because remember, if it's a big kick and it's on your arm, their leg is most likely going to be stronger than your arm and it's going to hurt. It's better to get out of the way. Or if you're coming forward, it may seem like it's going to hurt more, but it won't, because you're catching it before it gets to its maximum point of impact. So you're jamming it before it can get there. Okay, so back to Heikadarch, just moving on to our next lot of blocks. So next one we're doing is our Kake block. So this one is just coming in front of our face, just deflecting a block. Deflecting a strike coming in. Main reason why we're doing it with an open hand instead of closed hand is because then we can grab if we need to and control that wrist. So if the punches come in, we can grab it, we can follow through, we can do whatever we need to. But we do have to make sure we protect our fingers. So the basic technique is we keep our hands up by our side, open up our hand, so we're starting with this left, palms facing up to the ceiling. I come across my body, so that way I'm going to catch anything in front of me. I turn it over, keep my fingers together, and then pull it back, so there's about a fist gap between my ribs and my elbow. So notice that I'm keeping my fingers together. They're not like this, because if I do that and there's a punch or something and it catches your pinky or it catches your thumb or something like that, it might break it. So we want to keep them together so they're a bit stronger. We're not keeping them completely closed, because if we did that, then we'd have to open our hand to grab. So this way we can still quickly deflect and grab if we need to, but just be mindful of keeping those fingers together. So it just comes under, flip, and bring back. Now one tricky thing is, as we're doing this, the other hand should be a fist. So it can be a little bit tricky for your brain to get used to it, but as you're doing it, make sure that as this one opens, this one becomes a fist. And then we swap it, so it goes back to the fist. If you're finding that you've got a hand open here, it's not very good, because if you need to punch, you've got to first close it, then do the strike. Whereas if it's already ready as a fist, you're kind of ready to go. Also good to think about, getting these hands a bit more independent. So you don't want to always have to have 2 hands open or 2 hands closed. You want to be able to pick and choose based on what you're doing. So just slowly, hands by our side, kake block. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now at speed, I'm going to try and snap this out. Still got to make sure I get that full movement. So the part where I'm really snapping it is as my hand turns over. As I do that, I'm trying to quickly grab it. Reason why is because I'm coming across my body, and then at this point is where I'm probably going to be hitting the arm and trying to grab it. So that's where I want the most force. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now with our footwork for this one, if I've got right foot back, fighting stance, 2 ways I can do it. One is I can just shuffle to the side and try and grab, but you might be able to do a little quarter turn with this one. So if I go to do the block, just spin my feet around and I can grab. So I can sort of just do that movement. It depends on the strike coming in and what you're trying to do afterwards. If you're just trying to defend yourself and you're not worried about any follow-ups, probably just getting off the line is fine. Just doing a little deflection. And hopefully again, that block isn't going to be necessary because you've gotten out of the way. But if you want more control with it, that's when you want to start thinking about, okay, well, where are my feet going to go here? Because I want to be able to follow up. So if you want to practice that, for the quarter turn, keep your right foot planted. No, it's a little bit hard to see. And just turn. Same thing that happens in our 4th senior kata as well, if you're used to that. That's that kake block and koken. Okay, moving on to our soto block. So back to hekidachi stance. This one I'm coming straight up, twisting across. So the important one with this one is we're hitting with our forearm to deflect something away from our face, so it's going to go straight past. So as I come straight up, I put that little twist in there. It's no good just doing this, so just a little circle with your arm, because you want that bit of force to really knock it out of the way quickly. So up, twist. I'm also twisting my hips a little bit with this one too, because if you try and just use your arm, you're going to get caught. There's only so far you can move, so a little bit of a hip twist is good. So just slowly I'm coming up, twist that arm across, hitting with that outer forearm, and the other hand up, twist, up, twist. Let's try that slow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now at speed. As you're doing it at speed, make sure you're not doing circles like this. You want to come up and deflect across your body. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so back to hekidachi, moving on to our tissue block. So this one is just using our palm just to deflect something across. This can be used in front of your face, but more commonly we use it in front of our body, just because it's a little bit easier. Your hands are already sort of at that height for doing it. But I guess when you're sparring, these little movements happen all the time. Sometimes just call it a parry. But our tissue block is just pushing across your body. So I'm not going directly parallel with my body. I'm coming out on a bit of a 45. That way I'm trying to meet the punch as it comes in. So as it's coming in, I can hopefully catch it and deflect it out of the way. Now this block doesn't have very much strength at all, because all we're using is our palm and this little movement here. So if you just stand there, and even if you deflect it, it's probably still going to come through and hit you. So this one is really important to use with your footwork to get out of the way. But just slowly, all I'm doing is palm up, bringing my fingers right back, because I want to hit with that palm when I do the deflection, and then stopping there. There's no point going way out here, because I don't need to get it all the way over there. I just need to get it just past my body, so that it'll miss me. So going slowly like that. The same with the other side. Just make sure as well you've got a little bit of a gap with your arm against your body. Main reason being, you can keep it fairly close, but you don't want to be resting on there, because that's going to slow you down a little bit. You want it to be a free movement. Okay, so just slowly. 1, 2, 3. Same thing, I'm trying to keep a closed fist with my other hand, just like the kake block. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now at speed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Should be a nice easy movement to do once you get used to just how far to move. If it's feeling like it's too hard to keep up the speed, it's probably because you're moving too far. So just try and rein it in, just a little deflection. So now for the footwork for this one, I'm going to combine this one with the Soto because they're basically the same one. If I've got right foot back fighting stance, if I'm doing a tissue block, it's probably just going to be a quick little deflection off to the side that way. Could sometimes be that way. We're going to often combine it though with other things. So if I'm doing a Soto, I could Soto that way, I could Soto that way, but straight after we're going to try and do a follow-up. So if I've got my tissue off to the side, I just do the tissue, use the other hand to follow up. Or tissue, come over with a back fist. Same with our Soto. If I do my little turn, I can go to a back fist. Even if I do a little shuffle, I can do a back fist, or I can follow up with that other hand. So it doesn't matter as much with this one. This is going to be a very reactionary sort of block. You're just trying to hit their strike out of the way and move your body out of the way at the same time. So with those 6 blocks, we can start to put them together into combinations. There's 2 reasons why it's good to do that. One is mentally it's a little bit harder, and also in practice people don't just do one strike. They tend to do a couple, so you've got to be ready to keep moving with all of these different blocks in combination. The other part to it is, if you're just trying to work on your fitness, basics are perfect for this because you'll work up a bit of a sweat doing it as long as you're doing it hard. So focus on that arm as you're doing the block, super strong. Everything as fast and as hard as you possibly can. Build up all your muscles in your arms, even all of your supporting muscles too. So if you've got a strong stance, this will help a lot. So to practice this one, we'll try it from right foot back. We're just going to go through the first 3 blocks again. So we had upper, midsection, lower. Now the tricky thing is now to swap it over, I'm going to start with the other hand. Upper, midsection, lower. And then I swap it. Upper, midsection, lower. 1, 2, 3. I'd say to start with, try and do this slow to get used to the movements. As soon as you're starting to think, okay, I can sort of get it, I don't have to think too much about it, speed it up. 1, 2, 3. Doesn't mean you have to do the whole combination super fast. Each technique should be faster. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. As you're doing this, you should be exhaling on each block too. So it's always that point of impact where we're trying to breathe out. So when we'd be hitting the strike. So just try that a couple of times on your own. 1, 2, 3, and then swap to the other side. If you're finding it hard to get your hands going the right way, just start with always starting with your left hand. 1, 2, 3. Come back. 1, 2, 3. Then try just doing the right hand. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Then you can put it together. So starting with the left, starting with the right. With these ones too, feel free to just rewind and watch this part of the video multiple times, because even though I'm doing it straight away, remember I've practiced it plenty of times. So the first lot of times it would have been like upper, hang on, what's the next block? So you've got to really think about it. So you can break it down into smaller chunks. So the other 3 blocks we had were our kake, Soto, Tishu. And then I can swap that one over. So I'll just do it slow again. Kake with the left, Soto with the right, Tishu with the left. Then kake with the right, Soto, Tishu. Kake, Soto, Tishu. You can do other combinations of this if you want to. Sometimes when you've gone from your Soto, or even, I guess with any of them, you could do another block off that hand. So if you wanted to do kake, Tishu, to work on that speed, that could make sense too for practice purposes. But generally it's going to be faster if you can just keep alternating hands. So a couple more times. Kake, Soto, Tishu. Kake, Soto, Tishu. Again, slow them down if you need to. Now, if you want an extra challenge for this one, try putting all of them together. So upper, midsection, lower. Then we go to our kake, Soto, Tishu. Now the only problem with this is we're going to go back to our left when we start again. So what I'll get you to do is, after you've done that, come back and then try the other side. Upper, midsection, lower. Kake, Soto, Tishu. And then you swap it over again. With all of these ones, you can work on your stances at the same time, because this is mostly working our upper body. If you want to, try it from Hakedarch to work on that stance. You wouldn't be doing this in sparring or any street situations because it's a weak stance. But if you're just wanting to work on the stance and work on your balance, that can be handy. Then try it from fighting stance, try it from deep stance if you want. Try it from horse riding if you really want to work your legs at the same time. Depends on what level of challenge is good for you. If you're struggling to get the basic blocks, focus on them. But as you're getting them fine, and this is more just an exercise for you to go through, focus on the speed, making sure your technique is really good, and then trying to up the complexity. So stances, putting in the footwork as well. So you could be doing, upper, midsection, lower, thinking about these strikes coming in and moving with it. So those first 6 are the ones I'll get you to try for now. If you know any other blocks and strikes though, feel free to add them on now, or you can wait for other videos for them.